Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Southern Puma, and today we're going to be doing an episode of Puma Speaks, where I talk about my experience going to Monday Night Raw in 2019, which is a WWE show. And before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe. Go to the comment section below, request something you want me to talk about, request something you want me to react to, or just tell me how you're doing. Go to the description, check out my Instagram, Twitter, and 2 Discords. You can talk to me more directly on all 4 of those. And right there in the iCard in the corner, there will be a random video for you to watch. And if you can't get the iCard, well, at the end of the video, there will be that random video, as well as the playlist for all the episodes of Puma Speaks so far. Now, let's get into the story. So I'm pretty much going to talk about just the entire day. It was January 14th, 2019. And I was just having... I had just gotten up at 8, and at about 9... I was playing my DS for about an hour, and at about 9 o'clock, I finally beat that Mario game on my DS, New Super Mario Brothers. It took me 3 years to beat that game. Now, this was the first video game I've ever beaten. And it really made me happy beating that game when I did, because on that day I knew that I was going to be going to Raw, which it already put me in a good mood that I got up knowing I was going to go to Raw. That got me in a better mood. So I was overall freaking happy as hell. Later on that day, at about 3, we got up and got in the truck. Me, my mom, and my mom's ex-husband, who is the one that drove us there. Well, we all 3 went, but he was the one that drove the truck. We all 3 went to Cracker Barrel to get us a bite to eat before we went to Raw. And we left at 3:30 because it took about an hour and a half for us to get to Memphis. So when we got there, at about 4, we sat down at Cracker Barrel and ate us something about to eat before we went to the Forum, the FedEx Forum, where Raw was going to be held. And it was overall a really good experience. We got there, we got a good parking spot. We only had to pay like $15-20, which was insane. Like, I thought it was going to be way more tedious because there was 20,000 people that went to that show. Because Memphis shows are really packed because people in the South love wrestling. And specifically WWE. And there was like 20,000 people there. We got there early enough to where it wasn't super packed yet. And when we were about to go in the arena, we were exiting the truck, and one of the security guards was yelling at somebody who had already went closer towards the arena. And me and my mom just got scared. We looked back thinking it was us, that we somehow failed to pay the parking ticket. Or not the parking ticket, failed to pay to park. And it wasn't us, it was someone further in front. And the security guard was really nice about it. It was like, no, not y'all, you ain't gotta worry. Y'all already paid, y'all are fine. And that was a huge relief for me. Because that was something that kind of scared me a little bit. So, we get into the arena, and I My mom allotted me like 30, 40 bucks in merchandise for merchandise money. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but I actually got some things. A John Cena towel, which is still over there, that I use to this day, almost 4 years later. A light up fidget spinner, remember those? And a couple of drinks, which come with the decorative 32-ounce cup. Now, we still use those. We still use those cups. And they're really good quality cups. Like, you wouldn't believe it. And we got to our seat, and I distinctly remember who was in the first match. Because it was the dark match on main event. It was because the dark matches are taped for a show called Main Event, which is on Hulu now. The first match that we saw was No Way Jose versus Zack Ryder. And this was like I said, this was the dark match. I don't really remember anything from it. I think Zack Ryder won, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, Zack Ryder now is going by his real name, Matt Cardona, because he's not in WWE anymore. He's on the Indies, doing his own thing, reinventing himself before he comes back to WWE, like what Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal did. It's really an interesting story to see unfold. Anyway, when the show actually starts, one of the first things we see is we look at the screen and we see Braun Strowman backstage. And he's just going on one of his classic rampages at the time. And he just destroys a limousine. Now, whose limousine was it? Vince McMahon's. And Vince comes out of the limousine pissed off, as you do. And he almost fires Braun then and there. But what he did was he barred him from a match that he was having at the pay-per-view unless he won a certain match later that night. I don't really know if that's how it went. I'm telling the story off of memory. So I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on or what happened in the story. But one thing I do distinctly remember, like this is something that I actually remember, is John Cena. This was one of his last matches on a weekly show. Or in fact, this was his last weekly televised match. Obviously, he had more pay-per-view matches after that, but this was his last TV match ever. Or as of now, this was his last TV match. And it was a fatal 4-way against Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, and either Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns. I think it was Braun. And that was the main event. Earlier in the card, I am jumping all over the place, but this is how it's coming to me in my head. Earlier on in the card, it was a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. And Ambrose was the champion. Lashley actually won that title, and it was a real big shock to me. I didn't know I was going to see a title change that night, and it was really special because I saw it live, and it was really cool. Another thing that was really cool was later on after that, I got to see an NXT call-up. The call-up of Nikki Cross, to be specific, now going as Nikki ASH. And I was happy. The dude beside us already spoiled it like an asshole a couple of seconds before, saying, Alright, come on, Nikki, come on out. Like, I know you have a cheat sheet, dude, but keep that shit to yourself. Like, come on. And he was an asshole that night because he spoiled that, and it was really cool seeing that come across the Titantron, Nikki Cross. Obviously, it was really cool seeing these things seeing them live. But the main thing I took away from that whole experience was that if you haven't seen a WWE show live, you're missing out. Like, if you're a wrestling fan and you haven't seen a WWE show live, go out of your way to do so. Like, it is an amazing experience. Do it at least once in your life. Because if you do it that one time, you will never forget. Never. You'll never forget the experience. Because the experience of being there with 20,000 people in the arena is just one of the best. And it's just really cool. When we were on our way home, I was so worn out from watching that 4 hours, because it was 1 hour for the dark matches for the main event show, and another 3 for Raw. So I was standing there sitting there watching the show, just like on the edge of my seat like this, cause I was actually invested in everything that was going on, cause I was there live, duh. And I was so worn out that when we were going home, I fell asleep in the truck, and then when we got home, my mom had to wake me up. I've never done that. When we were in the car, I've never slept in the car before. That's the first time I've ever done that. And it was really just an amazing day. It was an amazing day when I went to Raw. So, it's pretty much it. Bit of a rambling story, but if y'all enjoyed that, be sure to like and subscribe. I already said all of this about 13 minutes ago. I don't really have a specific outro. Yeah, I'm not gonna play the scenes on here, but I'm gonna edit it. No, I'm actually not gonna do that. I'm just gonna have it straight up, because the way I have my OBS set up, I have it to where I have the intro and outro over here in the corner. Or over here in the corner, like where I'd go to, like, see, over here. I have that, the scenes, and then I have the intro and outro on the scenes. So I'm not gonna... I am rambling again. I apologize for all the rambling, but anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Actually, comment down below what else y'all want me to talk about for Puma Speaks. I'm really interested to see what y'all want to see. And I'll see y'all in the next video, which will more than likely be a short, but I'll see y'all next time. Peace.